Hey everybody, it's your boy Bigg Dre, and I know you're probably here by the name of the title, but nevertheless, welcome in. I got a story to tell. Now today is going to be a different type of video. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is some type of a vulnerable video. However, it is a motivating, encouraging, and uplifting video as well. So let's get started. So by the title, y'all probably saying, Dre, how did YouTube get you fired? Okay, so let's get into it. So just a little backstory, all right? So for those, some of you may know that I've been in IT for the most, probably the last 15, 16 years of my life. And something I enjoy outside of music, that's something I enjoy. I love computers. I love building computers. I love the way computers work. And I just love technology, period. And outside of the technology, I love the customer service part of the technology as well, because there's nothing that I love more than to help someone that's having a technical issue and to know that nobody in the building can fix it but me. That makes me feel good. But nevertheless, so I've been in this IT business for, like I said, over 15, 16 years. And it has its ups and it has its downs. But I've enjoyed the ride. And I thank God for the gifts and talents that God has blessed me with in that area, because I've never went to school for it. I've never had any training for it. It's just something that God said, yeah, you a musician, but I'm gonna dump this on you too. I'm gonna let you learn how to build computers and put them all together and show them how this software works and that sort of type of thing. And those things also brought me into places and was able to meet people like Bill Gates and that sort of type of thing. So those things I'm grateful for. So fast forward. So Dre, how did you get fired? How did YouTube get you fired? So most of you may know I was recently working for a company. Should I say their name? Well, they're just here in the they're here in the area. And I was last May I was hired in as a desk side tech. Basically, it was my first ever tech job, being in an office and sitting on my butt all day, sitting at a computer all day, which was different. I wasn't mad at it. I mean, because my previous job, I was all over the place. So this job required me to be in a building 9 hours out the day and sit on my butt all day and answering emails and tickets and that sort of type of thing. So I enjoyed it. So first day, I started and really didn't have no training at all, because the person who was supposed to train me got sick. So half of the day, I had ended up going to the place there I was going to be working at permanently. So it was literally hit the ground running, Dre, you start working. Really not much training. My supervisors at the time were kind of informative, but really, not forthcoming with, information of like the do's and don'ts, what should I do? How did this work? That sort of type of thing. Thank God I had another coworker that kind of helped me through the process of certain things, but still, it was like every day I was kind of lost on that job and really didn't know what to do. Even though I'm a tech guy, like every tech guy don't know everything. But this was a different environment for me. It was a different platform because it just requires sitting at the desk all day, and every business do things different. So I was kind of familiar with it, but I wasn't. So really hit the ground running. And but I was warned that, you know, Dre, first day, Dre, your department is a revolving door. I was warned that. And so here I am. I'm just grateful that, you know, to be employed. So I'm like, you know, I'm gonna change the narrative. You know, this may be a revolving door, but I'm gonna change the narrative. They got a good one when they hired me. So fast forward to November of 2023, I was asked to be considered to be the manager of the said department. And I knew by watching my other leads what they were going through and all the meetings and all the stuff they were going through. And I'm like, man, I don't think I want to do that, you know. And so I went back and forth, and then so I eventually decided I'll take the position reluctantly. You know, I'm like, God, you're gonna have to help me on this. But in my mind, I'm still like, Dre, you don't even know the position. You don't really know the role that you had before. But nevertheless, I took that position and kind of worked it. Some people left. Two of the leads that I had there before me, they left, and then a new guy came in. And so it was just me and him in the department. And so fast forward, I'm kind of working in the position, and I ain't gonna lie, it was easy money. I felt myself getting comfortable, and I'm like, okay, this may work. This is cool. I mean, I really don't know what I'm doing fully, but I mean, eventually I've just been on the job, in 6, 7, 8 months. So eventually I'll get it as time goes by or whatever. So fast forward to my birthday. Now some of y'all may remember around my birthday, in January, I went live from the office while I was at work. And I was working because I was doing inventory. Some new computers had came in. I was scanning in new computers. And while I was doing it, I was talking to you guys, my family, you know. And so I did the live or whatever. And so the next, probably I think that was that Friday. So that Monday, in comes supervisors that I had just met really in person that day. And they come in and they ask me like, hey, Dre, did you go live from this office on YouTube? And I said, yeah, you know, because I'm thinking, you know, ain't no big deal. Yeah, I went live, you know, wasn't, you know, big deal or whatever. And so they had the other employee go out the office. And so they sat down there and they're questioning me. And they're saying, you know, well, what was that all about? I said, well, I was just working. You know, I was working. I was doing inventory. Y'all that do inventory, y'all know that can be boring sometimes, you know. So, you know, while I'm sitting there at my desk scanning in computers, you know, I just decided, you know, cut on the computer and talk to my people. And, you know, that didn't distract me from doing my job. That's the number one point. So, so eventually, what was said that so because of this, we're gonna have to suspend you pending an investigation. And I'm like, whoa, investigation? Like about what? You know, I told you I went live. I mean, you know, I didn't lie about it. I mean, there was nothing on the live that was, you know, bad, or I didn't do anything that would cause cause any security issues or anything here at the office. So I'm thinking to myself, telling them like, what's going on? So well, we're just gonna have to suspend you with pay, depending on the investigation. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm like, well, let me just, get some things together, because I just had the feeling that was gonna be my last day in that office. So they was like, well, just get some of your stuff together, and we're gonna walk you out, and so they did. So I get my stuff together, and he was like, you keep your badge or whatever. And so I'm like, cool, maybe it's they can investigate all they want. I have nothing to hide, apparently, supervisor had seen the live stream and or whatever. So I'm like, well, if it matters, I'll delete the live stream if there's a big deal. If I knew if I wasn't supposed to do, go live on YouTube or anything, I would have never done it. However, these are the same things I've seen do it all the time. My predecessor leads and supervisors, they would go live on Instagram and TikTok and stuff all the time in the office with nothing said. No big deal. And I'm not trying to turn this into a race thing, but I'm just telling my story. I'm telling my truth right now. So they walked me out, and while they walked me out, one of the supervisors tells me, say, Dre, don't worry about it. I'm gonna tell them all the good things that you've done while you've been here, and I fight for my people, and I fight for my people, and I'm like thinking to myself, I ain't your people, bro. But anyway, I fight for my people, and don't worry too much about it. And then so I stopped while I was walking. I turned to him. I said, don't worry too much about it. Like, bruh, I could possibly be terminated over this, and you telling me don't worry too much about it? So I wasn't really mad. I was just, during this whole time, I was frustrated, because I'm like, Lord, what's going on here? What's what's going on here? So I went home. I text my coworker. I said, is the certain supervisor still in the office? He said, yeah, but well, Dre, he had me reformat your computer and re-image your computer and unassign it. I already knew what that meant. So there was no what investigation was there? Y'all knew what y'all was gonna do before I even left that building. They knew. So what investigation was there? When I leave, and then 20 minutes later, you telling him to re-image my laptop? So fast forward a couple days, I tell a brother of mine about what happened. He gets on the phone and contacts a couple people. They told me, to file a complaint with the ethics committee and that sort of type of thing. Because I'm thinking, like, this is totally wrong. Like, what is this all about? Some of y'all may have seen that during Christmas time, they had a karaoke. At the office. I was on live singing karaoke, and that was at Christmas time. Nothing was said. Nothing was said. But since then, we changed management in January, so that could have made the difference. I don't know. I'm just speculating at this point. So I filed the complaint. They said, well, we're gonna, forwarded to the company that you was working for, because I was actually contracting. I was working at a company. I was contracted to work for another company, if you get what I'm saying. So said company, didn't hear from them. So I ended up calling the HR department. And the lady says, well, Dre, you were terminated because you violated the policy. You went live on YouTube from the office and you violated the policy. And I'm like, what policy? Oh, you violated the policy. You weren't supposed to go do any live streaming from the office in the computer. I said, well, I never knew that. Nobody ever told me that. Oh, well, it's in our employee handbook. I said, what employee handbook? Now, mind you, most of y'all that's watching this, when you work at a job, you get your employee handbook, you read your employee handbook, and you have to sign, right? I've never signed anything. I've never seen an employee handbook during the whole time I was there. Never seen an employee handbook. So I tell her that. I said, I've never seen an employee handbook. Nobody ever gave me one, never told me where it was at. Oh, now this is the head of HR I'm talking about. Oh, it's on our website, and it's the responsibility of the employee to go read it. I'm like, really? So y'all gonna terminate me over a policy that I knew nothing about, and then telling me that I violated a policy that I knew nothing about because it's in the employee handbook that y'all never gave me from jump. I went through a whole lot of, drug tests, all kind of other stuff during the onboarding process, but I was never told about an employee handbook. Now I get it. Companies have their rules, they have their regulations. I get it. And like I told her, had I knew that that was a no-no, I would have never done it. Never done it. Never done it. However, here I am being the guinea pig, taking the fall. So she begins to apologize to me. Oh, Dre, I just apologize how all this went down. And, and I'm thinking to myself, your apologies don't mean nothing. Like, at this point, what's done is already done. Like, you cost me a paycheck. You cost me being able to provide for my family right now. And so here you are, the head of HR for said company, and now you are apologizing because you guys didn't do what y'all supposed to do in making sure your employees got the right paperwork and got the right employee handbooks. So I begins to tell her, I said, you know what? You don't have to apologize. Just make sure your employees, your future employees, don't have to go through what I had to go through. Because this was totally unnecessary. Had I knew what the rules is, I'm a team player. I know how to follow the rules. I'm a team player. So had I known, I would have never done it. So move beyond that. I said, okay, well, Lord, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna keep it moving. So I said, well, I was on the job long enough. I should get some unemployment. So I filed unemployment. I get denied. Now I'm telling y'all, this is hard for me to tell y'all all this, but I feel like I need to let y'all catch y'all up and let y'all know what the deal is, and let y'all know what I'm gonna just say this. I files unemployment. I get denied. I get the letter. It says I was denied because I was warned several times about the policy. And that's why I was denied. And I'm like, whoa. I was warned. I just talked to this lady a week ago, the head of HR. She apologizing to me, and now you telling me you telling the unemployment people of Michigan that I was warned about this policy because y'all don't want to pay me unemployment. So I immediately protested. I'm still waiting on the outcome of that. But that brings me to this. My brother told me that sometimes God will force you out of something to bring the best out of you. And I've said all this, and I've told this whole story to say this. God has blessed me with tons and a tremendous amount of talents and gifts. And as a creator, I have not been able to create like I'm supposed to. I have not been able to produce and compose and engineer and help others and assist others in their careers and even in mine, because I've been so busy doing other people's work. Sitting in a building 9 hours out the day. Coming home, I'm tired. I don't feel like going to the studio. I don't have time to create or, practice anything because I've been so busy doing other people's work. And for the past years, God has been pushing and pulling me for Dre to step out on faith. Stop being afraid. Stop being afraid. I got your back. I'm not going to let you lose. You so comfortable on what man can give you. On that what them little few dollars man can give you. You so comfortable in that. When I can give you more, way more than you can ever imagine. If you just do my will. Do my will. It was prophesied to me as a kid that there will be millions that won't come unless you draw them. I remember it. I was maybe about 11, 12 years old. And I've never forgotten that day. In that church service when that preacher told me that he said there'll be millions that will never come unless you draw them. There will be millions that will never come to Christ unless you draw them. And I always thought down through the years, and here I am, 42 years old. Why would God put such a huge responsibility on me? Why would he do that to me? Why would he put that? So that's pressure, y'all. That is pressure. But yet and still, God will whoop your butt until you do his will. He will whoop your butt. Nothing will go right. And yes, I found myself getting comfortable. I'm like, yeah, this easy money. I just get up, go to work. They got a cafeteria there. I go eat, get my eggs and bacon in the morning, get my coffee, go in the office, do my work, get a paycheck, go home, go to church. But that was all I was doing. I was just existing, letting all my talents die, letting all my gifts die. So thus brings AI Studios. So this is the background of it all, y'all. Now I'm not telling y'all all this. Now don't get it twisted. The purpose of this was not for y'all to feel sorry for me, because at the end of the day, God is He is my source and my resource for everything. The Bible says, in all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He's going to direct my path. I may not know where the next dollar is coming from, but He's always taking care of me. Always taking care of me and my family. So I'm not telling y'all this to feel sorry for me. No, No. No. Don't feel sorry for me. Praise God for me that I finally woke up and I understood the assignment. And some of y'all out there may need to understand your assignment. God has been chasing you. He's been chasing you so long to do His will, to follow His plan. You've been wanting to do things your way for years, maybe over 50 years. You've been trying to do things your way, and you wonder why things ain't going right. Maybe because you ain't trusted God. You ain't acknowledged God. This is why things happen. I'm telling you, only when you acknowledge God, that's when things change. That's when things change. The podcast studio was just something that God just dropped in my spirit like 2 days after I was fired. Like, Dre, you need to do this now. I still have my recording studio, but like the Lord said, you got to take it a step further. There's content creators in this area that need you, Dre. They need you right now. There's people that in this area that has a voice that needs to be heard, and there's people that won't get heard unless you draw them. You see what I'm saying? And I just put it out there. I said, well, I'll do a GoFundMe. I'll see how it goes. And I mean, I live in a city to where, you'll get some support. I thank God for everybody who has sold into the vision thus far. And I admit, I was getting discouraged during this whole process. Because I'm like, you raising money for a studio and you still got to pay the rent. But God said, I got you. And Lord knows, I want to dispel the myth. None of y'all donations is not going to not one bill in my house. Not one. All the funds are going to the vision. I vowed to God that that's what I was going to do. Every single dollar. God's going to take care of me. Thank God for savings. You got to always have a savings. That like for a rainy day, that like they say, have a savings. Because you just never know what may happen. But I just want to tell this story. I know it's a lot, but I want it to be an encouragement to you. If something ain't going right, if God has been pulling at your heart, if He's been feeding you ideas, give it to God, man. Give it to Him. Give it to Him. Acknowledge Him. Follow His way. Get in God's will. Our thoughts are not His thoughts. We may think we want to do things like this, and He'll switch it up totally different. Totally different. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways. God created us, and He knew from the foundation of the earth what He wanted us to be and wanted us to do. And I'm not telling y'all to go quit y'all job. But some of y'all know deep inside, like I know. Some of y'all know, but y'all been afraid to step out on faith for years. Y'all been afraid to take the risk and say, God, I'm taking this risk, but I know once I step out here, you got me. And yes, with AI Studios, I'm taking a risk. Well, I ain't gonna say I'm taking a risk. I'm just walking in God's will. I'm just walking in His will. Because He would never lead me wrong. God would never lead you wrong. And He's not a loser. God can never lose. I didn't mean for this to be this long. God knows I didn't. But I just want to be an encouragement to y'all that no matter what you're going through or what you're trying to do or what's been on your heart and what's on your mind, give it to God. Whether you need companionship, whether you need a job, whether you need income, whether you're trying to buy a house, a car, whatever it is, acknowledge God, y'all. He will direct your path. And it may not come like they say all the time. It may not come when you want him, but He's always on time. All right. I love y'all, man. This is from my heart to y'all. I love y'all. And I appreciate the support that y'all have been giving Tripping with Dre and Michelle. And make sure y'all hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And pray for me. Pray for your boy. You know, I'm doing a lot of things this year. I'm walking in God's will. I'm getting healthy this year. And see, these are all things that I've not been able to do because I've been occupied with something else. And the devil like to keep you occupied with something else instead of doing God's will. So remember that. Anyway, I love y'all. Peace out. Y'all have a great day. Deuces.